Dis reg, ons skyn die kollig so 'n bietjie op die natuur vanoggend. En weet jy, partykeer moet jy jouself binne in die natuur bevind om regtig te verstaan hoekom dit so belangrik is om na die natuur te kyk en dit te bewaar. Now, South Africa is of course home to some of the world's most unique biodiversity, and photography is just one of the ways that we can celebrate it. Now, the Iziko Museum are hosting a Nature's Best Photography exhibition at the moment, and we are joined by Slabber to tell us a little bit more and also some of the photographs that he has been taken. Lee, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Yeah, thanks for
I
having
think
me.
this is such a great thing, man, really just highlighting the natural beauty of Africa and South Africa as well. Now, let's talk about wildlife photography for a second. You know, it's unlike any other photography. It is quite different. How would you approach wildlife photography? How would you explain it to someone?
Yeah, I think the big difference between wildlife photography and most other forms, and I think that goes for nature photography in general, landscapes and wildlife, is that you have a controlled environment in a lot of forms of photography. So you can control your lighting, you can control the subject placement. With nature, it's quite different. You go out, you're driving in your vehicle, you don't know when the action comes, you don't know which side of the vehicle it's going to be coming from, you don't know if you're going to be facing the sun, if you're going to have the sun at your back, if there's light at all.
Yeah.
And then you've got to have you need to know that the settings are correct on your camera, and have you got the settings right? Nature doesn't repeat itself, so an incident might happen for 4 seconds, and you don't get a second chance.
And editing might not do the job at all. You need to make sure that it is perfect. And I'm sure a lot of patience as well when you think about nature and wildlife photography. You need to be able to sit still for a while if you want to capture that perfect image.
Absolutely. Getting back to editing, I think the one thing with wildlife photography is that in most of these competitions, editing's down to a minimum. You're not allowed to Photoshop your, it's basically basic levels and a little bit of contrast and saturation, and that is it. Right. So you need to crop your image in your frame while you're shooting. Yeah.
Let's talk about the image that you took that's currently on display at the exhibition at the Iziko Museum. Is this the one?
This is one of them, that's correct.
This is incredible, man. So what's the story behind this one?
Yeah, so this image was taken in the Galagadi Transfrontier Park. It's one of my favorite places to shoot, and I think photographically, a lot of photographers will agree, it has great light and a kind of remoteness. This particular image, I'd found this Cape Fox den, and I returned morning after morning after morning to photograph it. Sometimes the foxes wouldn't be there, sometimes they'd have gone to sleep already, they're nocturnal generally. And there were 2 pups, and this is one of the pups. And what actually happened is the mom had gone out hunting and brought back a handful of these, or mouthful of these whistling rats.
Oh, wow.
And this was a lesson in hunting. So this little fox would pick up the rats and start throwing them up, tossing them up in the air, running, stalking them. And I was just very lucky to be at the right place at the right time and capture it.
Look, this is beautiful. I would love to have more time to chat about this, but I mean, the exhibition forms part of a bigger competition, one of which runs international as well. But really, just quickly, if you could wrap up the core of something like this. What is at the core of an exhibition like this?
I think it's to create awareness. It's to promote a love of wildlife. I think we live in a time where climate change, population expansion, and poaching are real threats to our wildlife, and through the beauty of nature and exhibitions like this, we're able to form a love of nature.
And once again, just to understand why we need to protect our environment and our nature as well. Lee, thank you so much. Of course, you are one of the category winners for that photograph. Congratulations at that. But if you want to see the rest of the photographs as well, you can head out to the Iziko South African Museum. It runs up until the 25th of September. So if you really are passionate about nature, you can see some incredible photographs on display. And then once again, just realize why we should be looking after our nature, specifically here in South Africa and Africa as a whole. Right now, though, let's continue with our culinary hotline.